Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Could you please stand for declaring the national anthem? And this will be followed immediately after by the invocation from Perez Ambrose Jose. Please remain standing for the invocation.
Good afternoon. Let us pray. Dear God, we come to you with blossoming hearts as we celebrate the fruits of our labor. Father, you have taught us that nothing worth having ever comes easy, and the path to success is often filled with obstacles. But you have also taught us that anything is possible through Christ who strengthens us. Father God, we ask you to bless this afternoon's ceremony and all those who made this competition a success. Tend our hearts as you please so we can cultivate love, joy, selflessness, and peace. Prune our words so that our mouths can be used to build up your kingdom and our actions to build each other. And grant that we may know that great joy that comes from sharing with others. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Please be seated. Honorable Lindsey Grant, Minister of Tourism, et al. His Excellency, Mr. Tom Lee, Ambassador of the Republic of China on Taiwan, Mrs. Carleen Henry Morton, PS Tourism, et al., Ms. Sharon Rattan, PS Environment, et al., Mr. Kyle Flanders, Assistant Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Melvin James, Director of Agriculture, Mr. Sam Franks, St. Kitts Association of Backyard Gardeners, the President that is, staff of the Ministry of Tourism and Agriculture, and of course the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, special invitees, distinguished participants, nominees, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is for me a distinct honor and privilege to extend a hearty welcome to all of you to this, the 2020-2021 Backyard Garden Competition Awards Ceremony and the launch of the St. Kitts Association of Backyard Gardeners. This event, of course, was organized by the Ministry of Agriculture in collaboration with the Ministry of Tourism. At the Ministry of Tourism, we have long recognized the potential to create linkages with agriculture, the possibilities of utilizing agricultural products as a means of establishing an activity that can further expand the tourism offering to visitors and nationals alike, are aggressively being pursued on a yearly basis. The Backyard Garden Initiative, therefore, is one such collaboration that we believe is timely and necessary not only to advance our tourism goals, but a critical ingredient in our fight for greater food security. To tell us a little bit more about the marriage between tourism and agriculture, and of course the eventual possibilities from this union, I now invite Mrs. Carleen Henry Morton, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, to deliver opening remarks on this occasion.
Thank you very much, Alistair, our Master of Ceremonies. And of course, with your permission, I would like to adopt the protocol that you so ably established just a few minutes ago. Good afternoon, all, and a very warm welcome is extended to you, to Eco Park, and to this afternoon's event. I am delighted to be here this afternoon, back at the Eco Park, this time to witness and to participate in the successful culmination of the Backyard Garden Competition 2020-2021 that was launched on 10th October last year. This afternoon's activity is way more than a prize-giving ceremony. Rather, on so many levels, it is a time of celebration. In fact, I was advised that one participant remarked that for her, it is not so much about winning. She is just excited that people are getting an opportunity to see her garden. That speaks of the joy and deep sense of pride and satisfaction that so many of our citizens and residents take in maintaining their gardens, not just for themselves, but to share with others. That is why at the Ministry of Tourism, we too are so encouraged by the fact that 34 persons are going to be here with us this afternoon. We started off with 37, but we fell to 34. And 34 persons are going to be with us this afternoon who not only responded to our call to action, but saw it through to completion. And that, we feel, is a tremendous show of support. We commend and say heartfelt thanks to every single one of you for your efforts. Can we put our hands together, please, for all of those persons who would have participated in the Backyard Garden Competition. We are proud as well that our teams and units at the ministry continue to innovate, to find new and exciting ways, even in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, to engage and include our stakeholders in our efforts to keep the sector afloat. We recognize that tourism is a transversal, cross-cutting industry, so we are always keen to partner and collaborate, to network across ministries, departments, and sectors. So we continue exploring avenues for sharing the bounty and beauty of our destination with locals and visitors alike. Together, we can continue to spread the message of responsible use and preservation of the natural environment on which so much of our industry depends, and to build awareness about the benefits to be derived from sustainable development and intersectoral collaboration. To this end, we have repackaged and reshaped many of our programs and projects, so we move on with the business of tourism. This is what has brought us here today, to celebrate our many blessings: acres of fertile soil, practically year-round sunshine, and temperate climate in which many varieties of plants can thrive. The energies, passion, industry, and creativity of our equally warm people, a recipe for a rich bounty of products, byproducts, and other avenues for income and enjoyment that, frankly, are yet underexplored and underutilized. At the Ministry of Tourism, we want to change that. We want to work with the relevant expertise and interested stakeholders to translate those opportunities into actual tourism products and a more diversified tourism portfolio. More specialized tours that offer clusters of outdoor activities that highlight our island's breathtaking beauty and capture our rich and eclectic culture and history. Greater efforts to offer unique, locally made, high-quality art and craft items, a wider variety of beauty, hair, and household supplies, creams, spritzes, toiletries, candles, all infused with the tantalizing aroma and vibrant colors of our exotic flora and wild vegetation. We have at our disposal myriad local resources and raw materials with which to produce memorable experiences that will add value to our brand and help to boost marketing for your businesses and the destination as a whole. Moreover, we will be supporting our small and medium-sized businesses, the local tourism value chain, and the local economy overall. Just think of the add-ons and possibilities. Our gardens will essentially become sanctuaries for our pollinators, birds, bees, and butterflies, needed to feed the cycle of crop production. We can add dimensions to a simple but well-organized and differentiated garden space, a spa, manicure or pedicure service, using all locally made oils, soaps, and creams, or a relaxing outdoor intimate space for small yoga and meditation classes, with perhaps complimentary choices of bush tea, local juices, smoothies, and wines, or modestly priced garden tours for plant enthusiasts and schools, topped off with samplings of a variety of locally produced delicacies, patties, tarts, jellies and jams, black pudding, fried fish, johnny cakes, marby, ginger beer. We also have at our disposal an assortment of multimedia platforms for marketing these services and products to domestic and other markets. Really, when you think of it, the possibilities are limited only by one's imagination and their willingness to seek out and pursue mutually reinforcing symbiotic relationships. This essentially is the marriage we want to see between tourism and agriculture, because this level of constructive partnership is key to the sustainable development, growth, and expansion of both sectors. If we are going to stay relevant, attractive, fresh, and competitive, we must think in terms of innovation for product differentiation. We do not want to just survive in the new normal that is the foreseeable future. We want to thrive and to evolve and to generate new models and exciting paradigms for engaging stakeholders in both sectors, for staying connected and in tune with our patrons so we are better equipped to cater to their changing needs and expectations. Likewise, I want to encourage stakeholders to engage each other, look for avenues for combining products and services, and for creating tour clusters that afford tantalizing slices of the diversity we have to offer to satisfy the discerning tastes out there, both local and otherwise. At the Ministry of Tourism, we plan to continue this competition and similar projects. And it is our sincere hope that in the years to come, we will see more and more persons participating and encouraging friends and family members to do the same. Encourage in particular our youth, our young people, with their creative ideas and energies to contribute to these efforts, so individually and collectively we achieve a greater level of self-sufficiency, food security, preservation and beautification of the natural environment and our surroundings generally. Ultimately, it will all be to our benefit in our homes, communities, and as a destination. Before I take my leave, I wish to extend heartiest congratulations to those persons who emerge as winners and runners-up in the various categories. Commendations as well to all of the participants. From what I have been told, this was a very keenly contested exercise, and I can tell you that the organizers and judges were very impressed with what they saw and the obvious effort that went into preparing the gardens. Welcome once again. Thank you to everyone for your support and your presence with us this afternoon. Do continue to enjoy the rest of the proceedings. Thank you very much.
We thank P.S. Henry Martin for those inspiring words of encouragement and for sharing our vision for the future. We now invite Mr. Melvin James, Director of Agriculture, to bring greetings and to give some remarks on behalf of his ministry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would also like to adopt the protocol that you established quite comprehensively. And I simply would like to welcome one and all on behalf of the Minister, Permanent Secretary, and the entire fraternity of the Department and Ministry of Agriculture. I trust that we will have a very rewarding and exciting afternoon here together. It's great to see our allied agencies from the Republic of China and Taiwan, Tom Lee and his colleagues, certainly Honorable Minister Grant, P.S. Rattan, P.S. Carlin Henry Morton, and the participants, both winners and all involved. I said to us that no longer should we in St. Kitts leave the idea and practice of food production up to the commercial farmer alone. For one, our commercial farmers who largely adopt traditional methods operate open field farming. Open field farming has many risks. We know hurricanes, in a few instances floods, certainly in the dry season fires, because of the slopes, erosion, even theft, and low productivity, sometimes due to the impacts of adverse weather, sometimes even forcing higher prices. We, as non-commercial farmers, backyard gardeners, and consumers, we are called upon, especially the backyard gardener, to continue to thrive for our own food security, because there are certain advantages. Broadly speaking, when we speak about home gardening, we do cover all of the aspects, though on a smaller scale, like fish farming, even tree crop cultivation, livestock production, the rearing of bees, and crops. But today my focus is going to speak more to crop farming because our competition is about backyard gardening. While I hasten to congratulate and laud the winners, I don't just want to focus on the winners because I want to consider all the participants as winners. I certainly want to encourage all of you to stay in the fight, and I will give you my rationale for that. The FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, in its many publications, have indicated that globally, some 800 million persons are without sufficient food on a daily basis. If we bring it closer to home, in the Caribbean and Latin America, there's a good 7% of our population that suffer nutritional imbalance. And in the St. Kitts context, it's an imbalance in terms of an excess of high-energy foods and less of fruits, vegetables, vitamins, and minerals. Indeed, families and communities are encouraged to take an active role in our own food production. Yes, for competitive purposes, yes, for aesthetic purposes, but even more importantly, for own food and nutrition security. If we look at some developed countries, particularly those in Europe, we find that even where backyard space might not be readily available, the non-commercial farmer has found many ways, many options of keeping the community green and of producing food. For example, folks have used even their rooftop, the top of their homes, and converted it into garden space. There is also the concept we call vertical gardens, meaning that where you have high-rise buildings, skyscrapers, they have used portions of the sides of the building to convert it from just glass and mortar into a living garden. And of course, I think we are also familiar with persons converting even a room in their home as a farm setting. It may have been popularized by the marijuana trade, but certainly other crop entities are involved as well. Even non-profit organizations have been coordinating work with the backyard gardener and the urban crop developer through purchase of seeds, accessing markets, and doing whatever is necessary for this sector to thrive. I am heartened that we're not only having backyard gardeners, but that we're moving even further to form an association. Because backyard gardening or non-commercial farming, as we know, also contributes to reduce cost to the homeowner in terms of purchasing food, being in control of the essential elements of your diet, and in a position even to share with your loved ones, and you can also sell and commercialize. Here in St. Kitts, one of my staff members, Mr. Stuart Versells, have been very instrumental with working with the backyard gardeners. Is Stuart here? Is Stuart here? Apparently he may not be with us at this moment, but I want to thank you for your applause in recognizing him. Stuart has a long history with being the extension officer with responsibility for school gardens and backyard settings. And he too has been very instrumental in working with the association, helping them to formalize themselves to a point where they can be officially launched today. So I ask again if we show some recognition and support for Stuart Versells, who recently retired from the department, but I am confident he will continue to champion the cause of agriculture and the cause related to non-commercial farming. Ladies and gentlemen, this year, 2021, for us ought to be a watershed year for agriculture. After many years of neglect by us as a country, we are finally coming around to recognizing the inevitable and inescapable significance of agriculture, though perhaps it was learned through a hard lesson brought on us by COVID-19. We in agriculture have been set some ambitious goals, like reducing our food import bill by some 25% in the medium term. Truth be told, the farmers alone, though largely responsible for it, covets the support of all. Many of us have space in our yards, on our verandas, rooftop, roadside, even our staircase. Some of us have some lovely staircase with a lot of ornaments on them. Let us see these spaces as spaces that can support plant life. We in agriculture are forging ahead in the commercial setting, facing two of our major challenges: water unavailability and feral animals, particularly monkeys and pigs. We know that the monkey issue is also a challenge for the backyard gardener, and I have already received several complaints, several requests for assistance. We will do our very best, although much of the present focus is with the commercial farmer. As we speak right now, we are executing a program we call Operation Mansiport. And this is a culling operation designed to assist the farmers in this very area, the Foz district, where we've had numerous cry for help from continuous destruction due to monkeys and pigs. Similarly, we also want to be able to assist our backyard gardeners so that what you put in the soil you'll be able to reap. And we intend to work with the association to see what creative ways we can lend for such results. With regards to water, most backyard gardeners are unlikely to have a water challenge. This is something for the open field, and we have a program in place where we're going to be reaching out to the water department and also building dams and other harvesting techniques so that we can realize the goals set by the ministry. As I seek to wrap up, I remind you that our agriculture not only faces challenges, but there's also rewards. I know that you, as a backyard gardener, usually love and cherish your plants and have learned a lot. We have an extension service that we will continue to make available to you, not only ourselves, but our allied agencies like the Republic of China and Taiwan, AICA, CARDI. They're equally available to you directly and through us, because we would like that eventually we could measure the contribution of our backyards. We can say that, just like how in my report I would say to you that in 2019 we produced 1,500 metric tons of food from 11 different local species. In the not too distant future, I would love to be able to measure the output from our backyard gardens, whether you're using it directly for tourism, for your own consumption, or for sale. Because collectively, this is what is going to contribute to local production and reduce imports and our own status of food security. I once more commend all involved. Please stay on course. Do not slack. Do not drop out, but continue in the farming entity, not just because maybe you didn't win a prize, or don't be satisfied, but work on, work upward. It's for a worthy cause. We're developing ourselves, we're developing our country. I'm just going to make one step back, because when I spoke of Mr. Vossels, he was not here. He has now arrived. And Mr. Vossels, I reminded the group of your instrumentality in backyard garden and in the formalization of the association. I ask, sir, if you'd be kind enough to stand and take a bow. There, Mr. Vossels. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish us all well. I look forward to working closely with tourism, with the backyard gardeners, with the association, all as we seek to marry this entity with tourism, and from the agricultural point of view, to move further to food security and nutritional balance. Thank you.
We thank Director James for sensitizing us about the importance of non-commercial farming and the many ways we can develop gardens, the tangible benefits to be derived, and some of the projects that the department and the ministry are implementing in support of such initiatives. We'll now be favored with a poem by Mr. Vikel Edwards Douglas.
Good afternoon. With the permission of the Chair, I beg to adopt the protocol which has been ably established. Again, I crave your indulgence at this moment in time to present to you a literary piece dubbed Agriculture Was, Tourism Now by Vikel Edwards Douglas and Jahil Linton. Have you ever heard of a tale of a queen called King Sugar, who rules with her twin sister, Queen of the Caribbean, dragged from the motherland to interrupt and inherit what was not their own? First the Chinese and the Indians, and they perished in the heat of the plantation. But it was with black people that could walk. Yes, we people could walk from morning till evening, with brothers and with sisters, with neighbors and with in-laws. Massa, no. The sugar cane them a grow. The weeds them pulled with the dung or laid. The crops them sweet. The finest sugar to be made. Me no know we make them no one pay. Oceans of crops as far as can see, all surrounded by lands and seas. Ship after ship a come and a go. First it was slaves, now is workers loading cargo. The era has changed, but barely the economy. First we sold crops, agriculture was the industry. Now we sell attraction and experience tourism, with charging a little visitor's fee. How have we evolved? Have we evolved? Some would say, well, definitely. Come Sugar Boy, come Tourist Girl, come Mr. Farmer, come Captain Pearl. Cruise lines and flights from all over the world about our agri-turned tourism world. Is there anything that you've learned? Look and listen as they shuffle for tourism. They have made a list of places they would like to be. Wonderful sights where you hear, oh land of beauty. Listen, they wish to witness magnificent mountains like Mount Liamiga with silvery hills, black and gold sandy beaches full of coconut and thrill, and salt in the crisp air, exotic vast valleys and emerald green plantations where sugarcane still grows. Also, they want to see museums filled with our history and culture, and old cities and ruins lost in time yet never forgotten in their mind. They made images of all these places they wish to see and the amazing diverse people who will surround you and me. Images of millions of shades of nature and heritage. They heard, yes, on television, radio, internet, and don't forget the visitors' magazines. They want to see all these places, but one by one as they go around in the big banana, taking pictures of the island adventures, memories lasting forever. They can hear the local laughter and cheer as they drink a Carib beer and swallow two badwood along the street. People will always watch and think, how can a place like this be culturally rich yet so progressive? How come a single place has so many folklores and moments to give? From the people being imported to the crops being exported, the land has been given a rest. First from the lesson plowing, and now from the COVID lesson the footsteps roaming. We've experienced the highs and the lows, the lies and the facts. Now it's almost time for we to begin a new rise. Think about it, maybe tourism online. Who knows? The agriculture now and tourism, the agriculture was and tourism now may combine to create an agro-tourism surprise. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikel. As I indicated earlier, tourism and agricultural linkages represent perhaps the greatest opportunity to channel the tourism industry benefits to the rural areas, thus expanding the tourism plant. Strong linkages, of course, can also develop between agricultural production and food consumption. And in the process, we can bear witness to many more events such as what we are witnessing here this afternoon. The Honorable Minister of Tourism, et al., Honorable Lindsey Grant, will now bring us a few remarks on this occasion.
Thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremonies, Alistair Williams. Ambassador Tom Lee, Resident Ambassador for the Embassy of the Republic of China on Taiwan. Carleen Henry Morton, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism. Ms. Sharon Rattan, Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Environment and Cooperatives. Mr. Kyle Flanders, Assistant Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture. Mr. Melvin James, Director of Agriculture. Mr. Ian Chapman, Crop Program Leader. Members of the St. Kitts Association of Backyard Gardeners. Teams from the Ministries of Agriculture and Tourism. Specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good afternoon. We are delighted to be here this afternoon. And after 5 months of hard work and commitment to celebrate the efforts and achievements of the over 30+ participants of the 2020-2021 Backyard Garden Competition. From the outset, let us give all the participants and the organizers a rousing round of applause for a job well done. This initiative, managed jointly by the Ministries of Agriculture and Tourism, was formally launched in October the 10th, 2020. It is intended to promote food security and healthy eating through the consumption of fresh fruits and vegetables. Equally, we use this avenue to spread the important message of civic pride and responsibility, nurturing that sense of patriotic duty that compels us to preserve and maintain a pristine, immaculate, and attractive St. Kitts. Starting with our own backyards and our own homes, extending to the communities, our antiquities and historic spaces, and including our entire island home. As a people, this must be an imperative, primarily for ourselves and our families, and then to generously share with our visitors when they come to our shores. When we commenced the actual journey at the beginning of November of 2020, there were 37 registrants, 26 of the applications in the vegetable category, and 11 in the ornamental category. However, by early March of 2021, 34 gardens were scheduled for assessment. This is indeed a laudable achievement, as it demonstrates a high level of interest and commitment amongst our people in tilling the soil, whether for pure enjoyment, to make a living, or a combination of both. You would recall, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ministry of Agriculture has been targeting the farming community to ensure that they were able to provide for our people. I am sure that we all remember the lockdowns. I am sure we all remember the scarcity of some of the fruits and vegetables which could not be imported in a timely manner in the very early months. I am sure we all remember the fact that most of our tourism and hospitality workers were laid off. And as a way of addressing these challenges, the government, and more specifically the Ministry of Agriculture, made special provisions for farmers to grow more food. The Ministry of Tourism applauded these efforts, and we continue to do so in a visible and viable and tangible way through the rollout of the backyard garden competition. Let me at this point commend our hard-working committee, which comprises the officers of the Ministries of Tourism and of Agriculture. Let me also take this opportunity to say thank you to the Department of Agriculture, and specifically the agricultural officers, Messrs. Stuart Versales and Kevin Jeffers, who worked along with the Ministry of Tourism to provide guidance, to provide direction on the judging criteria, participated in the field trips to inspect the gardens, and also conducted sprayings. And based upon the needs of the farmers who assisted in conducting aerial drone footage of the gardens. I suspect my voice was too hard. Let me apologize for that technical difficulty. Let me commend also the Taiwanese Agricultural Technical Mission, who willingly agreed to provide drone footage services to the Ministries of Agriculture and Tourism on a complimentary basis, through the use of the equipment and the experts. I must also commend the hard-working staff of the Ministry of Tourism for their participation in all of the activities from the planning through to the implementation. I am sure we can all see that their hard work has paid off. It is our hope that this initiative is expanded on in the years ahead so that more backyard gardeners would join the effort to grow more food and beautify their surroundings. As I said before, today is indeed a memorable occasion. And for, oh boy. And for some of you who will be receiving prizes, I know it will be more exciting. It is my understanding that later in the program, the first, second, and third places winners in the vegetable category and the first and second place winners will all be receiving prizes. It is clear that the Ministries of Agriculture and Tourism have made the necessary investment to ensure that your hard work is publicly recognized and rewarded. One of the reasons the Ministry of Tourism networks and partners with other ministries and departments is that we recognize that intersectoral collaboration is critical if the ministry is to achieve its goals. This event today is therefore part of the Ministry of Tourism's thrust to promote sustainable development. We do not believe in one-shot projects. Continuity and sustainable initiatives are the hallmark of success, and solid, reliable partnerships are critical to creating a competitive, well-managed, sustainable destination and tourism product. You would recall in 2019 that the Ministry of Tourism received a Global Tourism for Tomorrow Award for Destination Stewardship from the World Travel and Tourism Council. Initiatives like the Backyard Gardening Competition, therefore, they are people-centered and inclusive. They promote self-sufficiency, food and job security, that emphasize the responsible use, protection, and conservation of the natural environment, that inherently support intersectoral collaboration and partnerships. Initiatives such as these are critically important to ensuring global recognition for our country. From 2020 onwards, the presence of the COVID-19 pandemic does not mean that we should pause from the business of developing our communities and our country. It does not mean that we stop pursuing avenues for marketing our beloved island. It does not mean that we cannot come together to develop citizens and residents so we are more self-sufficient and independent. Rather, COVID-19 is teaching us that we must redouble our efforts at effectively collaborating and partnering. We must become more bold and innovative in our thinking and in our preparations to make the requisite financial investments and to build in the necessary resiliences that will cushion us when we have to navigate challenging circumstances and setbacks that will beset us from time to time. Never let us forget that we are a creative and resilient people with many natural assets at our disposal. Our rich soil, our radiant sunshine practically all year round, a rich and eclectic history, passionate, talented people, and so much more. All the raw materials just waiting to be more fully and sustainably utilized to the benefit and progress of current and successive generations. It is my understanding that today's event also features the output from our gardeners, our cultural icons in the persons of artists, artisans, and agro-processors. So please do enjoy all that we have in store for you. The refreshments, the ambience, the ceremony, and of course, the beauty and the splendor of the Eco Park. Congratulations and best wishes to the winners and to all of the gardeners. May your efforts grow from strength to strength. I thank you very much and a pleasant good afternoon.
Thank you, Minister Grant, for your remarks and for the rallying call for us to think outside the box to combat the effects of COVID-19 and our all-inclusive outlook for the future. The moment we have been waiting for is now here. And I would just like to say that the awards to be presented this evening celebrate the achievements of our hard-working gardeners and their commitment towards heightening awareness about this aspect of non-commercial farming and the obvious benefits. The competition, as you would have heard, was divided in two categories, one ornamentals and a second vegetables. I now invite Assistant Secretary Flanders and Director James to come forward to facilitate the prize giving for the vegetable segment of the competition.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to adopt the protocol that has been established. All right, as Mr. Alistair said, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. We are here to give out the prizes for the vegetable category for those placing 1, 2, and 3. All right, so without further ado, let's get the ball rolling. In third place, we have, one thing I have to mention is that I don't think the prizes are the main reason why the competitors were doing what they had to do. As we went around and we looked at the competitors, we saw just pride and joy and enthusiasm just brimming in their faces, jumping out at us. So I don't think the prizes are the main reason, but nonetheless, I could be wrong, but they'll let us know if I'm wrong. All right? So in third place, we have Mr. Andron Tuckett. In third place, Mr. Andron Tuckett. All right, Mr. Tuckett has received a plaque, a beautifully designed plaque, and also a gift voucher valued at $200 that can be redeemed at TDC. All right, not all of TDC, the home and gardening section. So no sheet or anything like that, the home and gardening section. All the 1, 2, and 3 will also be receiving a year's supply of seedlings, as well as some other gifts we'll mention later on. All right, in second place, now the points for between 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 was so close. I was so glad I wasn't a judge, because it was very difficult to judge all those gardens. But in second place, we have Miss Karen Dickinson. Miss Karen Dickinson. All right, Ms. Dickinson will receive beautifully designed plaque again, and also a $300 voucher redeemable at TDC, again, the garden section. All right, so the big moment from all of the 34 contenders, emerged one. And the top for the vegetable section, backyard garden, is Miss Dawn Hodge. Miss Dawn Hodge. Say artwork, man. Yes. All right, the voucher for the first place is valued at $500, again redeemable at TDC. I would like to thank the PP unit, the Policy and Planning Unit at the Ministry of Agriculture, for designing the artwork on the vouchers. All right, so that's about it for the vegetable section. I would like to say thank you and thank all those who participated in this competition. All right, Ms. Hodge will be visiting you later on to measure you up for a complete irrigation system. Okay, so the first place, the main prize, is a complete irrigation system, so look out for us. And so also number 2 and 3, look out for us later on for your main prizes. So it's not all what you got today. All right? Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. And we want to congratulate again all of the participants and, of course, the winners of the vegetable category of the competition. We now invite the Honorable Minister back on stage so that we can present the ornamental winners their awards.
Good afternoon once again. On behalf of the Ministry of Tourism, I would like to say how proud we are to be sponsors for this segment. And without further ado, we will start with second runner-up. And for that place, we have Miss Flo Francis. Mrs. Francis would receive a plaque, also a $400 voucher, which will be redeemable at TDC Home and Garden. She will also receive assorted seeds, compliments of Agrimatco Limited, a gardening hose, a 50-foot gardening hose, well, yeah, that's what she's getting. And Last but definitely not least, we now will announce the winner for the ornamental segment. And this goes to Mr. and Mrs. Ivan Matthew. Mr. and Mrs. Matthew will also receive a plaque. They will also get a $500 voucher redeemable at TDC, a full irrigation system that will also be installed on their property, a wheelbarrow, assorted seeds, Complement, Agri-Matco Synkits Limited, and a 100-foot gardening hose and control head. Here ends the prize-giving ceremony.
Thank you very much, Minister and Therese and Charlene. The SKN drummers will now favor us with a performance.
two of ourselves, and we are here this morning with our judging team for the backyard garden competition. As you see, we have 5 judges moving around the garden, looking at the plants, we're looking at the vigor of the plant, we're looking at the sanitation of the area, we're looking at how they go about what systems they might have, or innovative aspects to backyard gardening. And we are on right now Miss Marilyn Pham from Half a Tree. We will just spend just about 15 minutes for the judges to go about checking every single plant, every single area of development, and then we move on to Sandy Point, where I think there are just about 5 participants, and they go around the land accordingly.
Hi, good morning. My name is Catrice Thomas. I'm the Community Tourism and Tourism Education Officer in the Ministry of Tourism.
It's very enlightening and heartening to see a number of persons involved in backyard gardening. What we have found so far as we go out in the field to judge is that most persons understand the basic concepts of farming, though it's on a small scale. We have seen from buckets with water, drip irrigation, the ordinary hose, and some as if they're even depending on rain for water. We would like to see more persons becoming involved in producing their own food. We are seeing healthy products, we are seeing local products, and we are seeing persons who are able to save quite significant sums of money by growing their own food. It also provides a means of exercise to some, and that value of just seeing that what you produce, you're eating. And so I want to make the general appeal for more persons to become involved. Competition, yes, but you don't have to win in terms of getting first place to really benefit from the exercise. And see, here we go, using of what we call recyclables, old cups, instead of disposing of them in the garbage or the landfill, you can use them to plant a seed. And I used to tell students of mine when I used to teach many moons ago, you could put a little herb, a little bean, something in one little cup. You don't need 5 acres of land to produce food. You don't need 2 acres of land to produce food. You could use tires and fill them. You could just get any space within your yard. Grow flowers, of course, on occasion, but more so, grow food. I'm also involved in the Backyard Garden Association. Presently, I'm the vice president. And we have recently established or re-established the Backyard Garden Association, which will be launching shortly to the public. We are encouraging members to become a part of that association. We are hoping that being a member, you'll get tips on agricultural production, you get tips on forecasting and whether or not you'll get rain. We are also hoping to touch base with some business places where they're offering some incentives, discounts as being members of that association. So come on, come aboard and join us today.
Hi, I am Shalene Welcome Lewis. I'm the Community Tourism Officer at the Ministry of Tourism and also a judge for the Backyard Garden competition. So we're here doing our final judging and with Mrs. Dawn Hodge Percival, asking how does it feel to be in the competition, the Backyard Garden competition that is?
I'm always excited about being in the backyard garden competition. I've been motivated with backyard garden since the life of my parents, and it's something that I want to continue to do, not just being in the competition but help to motivate other people how to get through with the backyard gardening. I enjoy it. It's an aromatherapy for my soul. It takes away pain, it takes away stress, and it helped me to enjoy life even more.
Nice, all aims of the backyard gardening. So Dawn, do you mind telling us about what you would have implemented in your gardening? Because we're seeing that you would have had some really creative works added to your garden. It's not just gardening, it's also beautiful as well. Can you tell us a bit about that?
After start working on this STEP program, it motivated me to go into more landscaping than just gardening, and I enjoy doing it. I will tell you the honest truth, from first I didn't like my job, but I really do love it because I can see the beauty coming out in what I am doing.
And I guess it also feels really good seeing that you can harvest your own food without going to the supermarket to pay that much, right?
Yes, I love when I'm cooking, I just come down with my basket and pick everything that I need, you know, to make a lovely dish for the day. This is a lemongrass oil that is made from the lemongrass root. It's something that I download to see how it was done, and I tried doing it myself, and it came out the way it's supposed to. This is something that I have marketed, I have sold, and it works effectively. We use it for aromatherapy, massages, pain, joint pains. Wherever you have a pain, you can use it, and it will be successful. This is antifungal toenail treatment made from oregano and apple cider vinegar. If you have a toenail fungus, you can use it on your toenail twice per day, and it will help. I have used it, and it worked for me, and it also have works for other people. So you can give it a try.
And you're saying that all of this that was produced, plants grown especially in your backyard garden?
Yes, go in my backyard garden, the oregano and the lemongrass.
What's your name?
Evelyn Benjamin.
And this is your garden?
Yes.
How long have you been doing this now?
Over 15 years.
Wow, 15 years is a long time.
Yes.
Difficult?
Yes, more difficult now since my husband passed. He used to help.
Okay.
He was the one, all the older plants, he was the one who, helped in planting them. So I'm maintaining and planting new ones, but it's a part of his legacy that I'm trying to keep up also.
Is there any joy when you see some such beautiful flowers?
Yes,
How
that keeps me going.
It must be
That
very good.
keeps me going.
Nice.
The joy of seeing and relaxing at evenings in the garden. I relax, sometimes I have a drink.
Oh, good, wonderful. I'm sure your neighbors must be just seeing such a beautiful garden.
They sometimes visit. Some of them were here yesterday.
So it also helps to bring your neighbors together to come and enjoy the beauty.
Yes.
Would you recommend anyone to do it?
Yes. Yes, because when your surroundings are beautiful, it helps, it makes you feel good. And of course, when we feel good, our bodies secrete oxytocin, which is a hormone that, is good for the body. So that feel good feeling comes from, especially if you're a plant lover. And then, it's rewarding. Happy to know that my hard work, is noticed.
It's noticed.
Yes.
Very well. Thanks a lot and nice meeting you.
Thank you.
And I hope you continue to do this beautiful.
I will, because I enjoy it. Evelyn Benjamin, Tabernacle.
This is our final stop in terms of ornamental plants in our judging competition for 2021. I'm not going to promise that she will win or she will place, but I must say she has a wonderful garden and we are all pleased of the hard work she would have put in.
My name is Todd Vossels and we're here, Ministry of Tourism and the Department of Agriculture. Speak with one of our competitors, Mr. Andrew Tuckett. Or, better yet, I will let him introduce himself.
My name is Andrew Tuckett and I'm a part of the backyard gardening competition. After March, and there was so many shutting down, and being a caterer and having my own private business, it impacted our finances. And since I know that there have been troubles for years in terms of decreasing our food import bill, I decided to take a personal endeavor and decrease mines for my household. And so I first started with planting some tea.
As we continue, just a little announcement that all of the participants in the competition this afternoon will receive complimentary seeds, compliments Agrimato Limited. Also, I just want also to send greetings to all of our viewers and listeners who joined us this afternoon via our many social media channels. I just want to thank them for giving us a little bit of their time as we celebrate all of the participants and winners this afternoon. We now move on to the launch of the St. Kitts Association of Backyard Gardeners, and I invite President of the association, Mr. Sam Franks, to come forward and deliver some remarks.
As I sat there and listened to the drummers, I couldn't help but notice the innovation that the drummers have added to their repertoire. I've always enjoyed them, but this time, if you notice, there was some drama attached to it. The next thing I want to point out is thank you, Versailles and Mr. Duggins, for taking us into people's backyards. Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Master of Ceremonies, ladies and gentlemen, with your permission, I adopt the protocol that is already established. Growing up, we took for granted simple necessities of life grown in our backyard, like pigeon peas, potato vine, herbs and thyme, banana, plantain, everybody's backyard had those, as small as the backyard was. Peas and trellises, we called them wire fences then. And in the immediate neighborhood, we had mango trees, lime trees, and some of us had a little space for pineapples, even though at the time, pineapples took about 5 years to grow. We know we were not yet so sophisticated to have things like broccoli and kale and yellow pepper, yellow sweet pepper, and orange sweet pepper, and I think there's purple as well. Things like bok choy and Swiss chard, and terms like raised beds, hydroponics, GMO, they were not even on our landscape. It's different now. Our backyard has changed. Our backyard was the same yard as our cousins and our family because they were just one house away. If you remember, I'm a little older than you, but some of you remember that. And sometimes our backyards was separated by an alley because their backyard was your backyard. But now, our backyards have some 2,000 square feet, 3,000, 5,000 square feet. And our lands that sustain the lifestyle of the elites and aristocrats of Great Britain and Europe for centuries are the same lands that are ours today, but only really in recent times. That is how things have changed. It is true that our yards are no longer separated by hedges or wire fences, but each yard now expresses the characteristics of its owner, the diversity of its owner, and the taste of its owner. But yet, many of our backyard gardeners live and occupy spaces that are not really theirs. They rent a space, but they still find space for backyard gardening. Sometimes even in the air, they find space for backyard gardening. This has created lots of diversification. Our backyards now have water pipes and sprinklers, and as they say nowadays, irrigation systems like drip line and so on. Some even have plastic to cover half of the yard to keep away the weeds. Things have changed. There's information gathering and information sharing among backyard gardeners. Information from experience and information from the internet. I must pause at this point to recognize Henry Hugh and his staff, who every day provide backyard gardeners in our chat information on the weather. Like I said before, it's interesting but true that some of us don't even need the soil. Some of us just give us water and we'll grow. That is the impact of the information from the internet on our productive capacity in our backyard. Even the definition for backyard is changed. Once upon a time, distance, for those of us who were in the town areas, Sandy Point, Bastille, Keon, backyard was really backyard. But for those of us who were from the rural areas, backyard was really halfway up the hill, in the valleys, in the ravines. And they were able to produce a lot more. But the definition has changed. The backyard is virtually our backyard. They produced yams and edos and mangoes and guavas and pears, breadfruit, guinea, other fruits and vegetables of every variety. And I am not going to forget our staple food at one time, breadfruit. Most importantly, our attitude towards the importance and utilization of backyard is changing. In recent times, primarily because of the initiatives of government, the benefits of backyard agriculture have spawned a rebirth in the persons involved in backyard gardening from all sectors of our citizens. We have teachers in backyard, we have doctors in backyard, lawyers, civil servants, professional people in every walk of life is now involved in backyard gardening. There are a number of good things that can be attributed to COVID. One of them is the catalyzing of backyard gardening. And so it is, after maybe 3 years of effort to organize ourselves into an association, and after many interventions from the different ministries, Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Agriculture, on the 9th of February last month, with a membership of some 43 persons so far, an executive committee was installed and a constitution adopted with clear aims and objectives to promote the betterment of backyard gardeners in the attainment of the economic and social goals, thereby meeting the food and nutritional security and sustainability that we have set for ourselves and in fact, and our families, and in fact, for our entire nation. With those few words, especially with the presentation that was made earlier. I invite my association to stand with me as we officially launch the Backyard Gardeners Association. I call, first of all, our Vice President, Stephen Duggins. Our Secretary, Senaro Busu. Our Treasurer, F. Diana Francis. Our Assistant Secretary Treasurer, Karen Dickinson. Our Public Relations Officer, Relda Warner. And our 2 members that represent the entire membership on our management committee. There is Vaughn Ward, and Conrad Kelly. In this symbolic launching of the association, I would like to have a representative from the 2 ministries that have been so supportive of our efforts. The Ministry of Agriculture, represented here by Mr. James, and our Honorable Minister. So, can you please join us? I think this might be a photo op. Maybe the best thing is for us to, the 3 of us, perhaps to do a handshake, then pledge our continued working with each other as institution and government for the betterment of backyard gardeners throughout St. Kitts. I must say that Nevis has its own and vibrant backyard gardeners. So, photo op. Okay, we want at this time, this is not a consolation prize, but we have a prize for somebody, a backyard gardener, who we thought was exceptionally well, and 2 of our judges, persons who judge the backyard, have identified this person as worthy of a prize. That person is a member of Backyard Gardener Association too. I must advise you that not all backyard gardeners are members of our association, but this individual is a member of the association. And so I call on Mr. Duggins and our Secretary, Senaro, to make a presentation on our behalf. We call on Relda Warner.
Good afternoon, folks. Just a few words. Relda was one of those persons we felt did extremely well. It was her first time entering the competition. Some judges felt that she should have placed higher, but this year she did not. And so we thought, as one of our first gestures of giving back to our members, we would recognize her for her hard work on the association, her hard work in backyard gardening. And so today, Relda, congratulations. Everything in this basket comes from the backyard garden. Everything.
While Velda is here, we have one other little token of appreciation to present. I'm going to ask Relda to do the honors.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me adopt the protocol that's been set before. I would like to call Mr. Verses to the podium, please. Much more. The SKABG presents to Mr. Stuart Williams on the occasion of the launch of the St. Kitts Association of Backyard Gardeners in recognition and appreciation for your contribution in the format and launching of the association this 13th day of March 2021. I could not wait for this moment to do this to him. Mr. Verses, thank you very much. And he's one who encouraged me to join the association and the backyard gardening. Thank you.
Conrad, just change over here. Just change. Conrad, just change, yes.
And then you on the end. Okay. Or we could do 2 lines, you know.
Yes, put up. Before I take, yes, you can. Thank you, sir. Mr. James, thank you so much. Before I take my seat, I just want to thank the Ministry of Tourism, the PS, Mrs. Morton. Thank you so much for the support you have given to the association during the time I've been there. And I also should recognize your husband, who is my personal friend. I'm told that we are looking really, really wonderful in our shirt and our logo, and it can be attributed to Welder. Yes, thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please allow me to adopt the protocol that was so ably established before me. It is said, in everything that we do, we must give thanks. So it gives me great pleasure to give the vote of thanks at this backyard garden competition prize-giving ceremony. First, I would like to thank the Almighty God for blessing us with health and strength to be able to be here today. To the chair, Mr. Alistair Williams, I'd like to say thank you for hosting today's ceremony. And Mr. Williams stated that backyard gardening is an essential ingredient in achieving food security. To Mr. Dejon Francis, we say thank you for such a beautiful rendition of our national anthem. Mrs. Therese Ambrose Versailles, we said thank you for invoking God's blessings on today's ceremony and exhibition. To Mrs. Carleen Henry Morton, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, a special thank you for reminding us that there are endless possibilities of the benefits of growing and eating local. Mrs. Morton also supported the efforts toward achieving food security and encouraged the initiative from all. We are humbled by brief remarks from the Honorable Lindsey Grant, Minister of Tourism, who stated that the collaboration of ministries is important to the development of our economy. He also stated that food security is a sustainable initiative in which his ministry was delighted to endorse. To Mr. Vikel Edwards Douglas, we say thank you for such a beautiful and dramatic poem on agriculture. It surely caught and held our attention. Thanks and appreciation goes to Mr. Melvin James, Director of Agriculture at the Department of Agriculture, as he reiterates the benefits of subsistence farming to our economy, life and entertainment through the form of music. Special thanks to the SKN drummers for the upbeat in the ceremony. Your presentation is always anticipated. We are honored to have the presence of His Excellency Tom Lee, Ambassador of the Republic of China on Taiwan. Much appreciation to you and your team who continue to support the Backyard Garden Initiative and practically any initiative brought to you. To Mr. Stuart Versailles, we say a hearty thank you for your vision through the Ministry of Agriculture and beyond. Your interest, support, and guidance throughout this entire project. We could not have done this without you. We also want to say thank you to Agrimatco for their sponsorship of resources that was much needed for this event. To the members of the St. Kitts Association of Backyard Gardeners, thank you for collaborating with us on this initiative. We hope that we would continue this partnership as we continue to spread the good news about gardening in our very own homes. To the Director and staff of the Marine Resources Department, we would like to say thank you for providing resources needed to make this event a success. Much appreciation is given to the leadership and staff of the Ministry of Agriculture. Together, we brought life to a vision of backyard gardening, one that has shown much potential for future development and progress. We can truly say that we have sparked much interest locally, and pretty soon, subsistence farming will be on a high in St. Kitts. To the Ministry of Tourism staff, I'd like to say thank you for your continued support and dedication to this project. To the catering team, the logistics team, thank you, thank you, thank you. To the management and staff of the St. Kitts Eco Park, we wish to show much appreciation to you and your undying support to all of our initiatives. A big thank you to the judges for rendering their expertise on such a tight competition. It wasn't an easy one. I think the judges were impressed with all the gardens that they judged. The judges were comprised of members of the Ministries of Tourism and Agriculture and of the Association of Backyard Gardeners. To the Planning Committee, you did it. Thank you for your dedication and support to ensuring that today's event would be a success from start to finish. I would especially like to thank you, the participants of the Backyard Gardeners competition. We had a vision, but you are the reason we can gather here today and celebrate this occasion. You freely allowed us into your gardens, your green spaces of love. Each and every one of you are winners here today because you would have encouraged another villager to start growing and eating healthier. You have showcased to us, the nation, that we can reduce our shopping bill. You have encouraged us to grow and eat more locally produced food. You have showcased creative methods in which we can grow our rich gardens. We have all learned some new recycling methods to grow our food through you. 36 applicants, 36 beautiful gardens, 36 gardens of inspiration for others. Many have started growing their own gardens after what they would have seen you started. We loved the spirit that flowed through the entire competition from you, and again we say thank you. I would also like to thank the media houses for their support through this entire project. And for an event like this, we might have unintentionally missed some of the names. It is not intended for us to overlook the useful contribution of anyone. We appreciate you all. So again, I say thank you, and together we can grow more. Thank you.
We've now come to the end of our brief ceremony, and we invite all of you to join us outside for the reception and exhibition. The SKN drummers will take us outside. Thank you. All of the winners and the participants of the backyard gardening competition, are asked to remain inside for a few minutes while we take a few photos.